Hi, I'm Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company. Welcome to part 5 of Home is Where the Haunt Is, and this week we are doing the mummy block. This is it right here, and I have to say I've been a little nervous about this because it looks like so complicated, but it really isn't. It's a lot of fun. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your pattern out, and we are going to trace our face on first heat and bond. So I'm going to do that right here. Remember, you want to put the bumpy part of your heat and bond face down, and we don't have to be perfect on this, so I'm just going to kind of draw around here like this. And then his little face part you're also going to need, but you're going to need that a separate piece, so you're going to make sure you move that down and trim that out like this. Now you just want to loosely cut these out. I mean, they don't have to be perfect because we're just going to iron them on, and we want to do our careful cutting when we iron. So let me put this away. There we go. Now, to make this block, you also need a background piece of black or gray fabric like this. It's going to be, I believe it's 7 by 9. Let me check to make sure. 7.5 by 9.5. So you want to make sure you cut up a darker piece, 7.5 by 9.5. You need the piece that your mummy head is going to be on, and that's this piece right here. And we are going to iron the circle for our mummy face onto this. We're going to go right here and iron it. This stuff just attaches so quickly that it's really awesome. So then we're going to cut this out like this. And this is really where you cut a little more carefully. And I am just going to cut right here. You can see I am generally following the line. What we're looking for here is an oval. So, all right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissor and I'm just going to score this right here, and that will enable me to peel it off really easily because I'll have a place to start from. I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces down here. So then we're going to attach our mummy face to our background square, and we're just going to center it. So just kind of eyeball it on there and make sure it's in the center of the block, and we're going to go iron that down just like this. Then we need this little piece of beige. It's a little bit darker because it's supposed to represent your skin, and we're going to put that on this little piece of muslin here. I'm going to just trim this up a little bit, or all my edges will stick off, and I will adhere this to my ironing board, which we don't want. So here we go. Just iron this on like that. And then we're going to cut this out. So we're just going to be careful and cut this little kind of oddly shaped, almost a diamond. And this actually is kind of fun because it becomes what you sew your mummy strips around. So we're going to put this right around here. It's kind of in the middle and kind of a little to the top and up by the middle, you know. Just really eyeball it. And then I'm going to iron that on. And now comes the really interesting part. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some scraps. It's about the same color as your head, your mummy head, and you're going to want to tear these. And it says you can tear them anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. Mine are 1.5. I just went safe for the center. And what you're going to do with these torn strips is you're going to put them side to side, and you're going to just cross over where the edge of the face is. And you're just going to sew a straight line in the middle here, and you're going to just trim this off. And then we'll add another line, and it's just kind of like making a log cabin block. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that. One thing you want to be careful of is you can see through this fabric right here. You can see the black background, and you don't want your stitches to come over on there, because once you get all these torn strips on your mummy face, we're going to go through here and just cut it off back into the shape of the oval. So we'll just trim it out. So let's go and sew these strips down, and let's head over there and I'll show you how to do that. Now what I'm doing with this is I am just, oh, hang on. There we go. I lost my foot pedal under the cupboard. I am just going to lay this along the edge of the face, and I'm just going to sew right down the middle of the strip. So let's do that. Being careful not to go over the edge of the white, because we want it to quit right there. And we're going to stop right there, and I'm going to grab my scissors, because this is easy to do, especially if you don't have to move too much. We're just going to trim this piece off right here. Then we'll lay the next piece across it like this. Just like that. Get my thread out of the way. Start on the edge of your circle. I really had fun with this. I'm so surprised. It was so much easier than I anticipated. This was the part I was like really worried about. How am I going to do this? But it really goes together so fun. So I'm going to grab more strips, and we are just going to keep sewing around this until all of our white space is covered with torn white strips. So now I just want to show you, to make sure you're clear on this, how I'm layering this. So I put a piece here, then I put this one over it, this one around it. I'll come back here and put a piece across here. You know, then the next piece will come over here. I mean, it's just, you just keep kind of going around in a circle and until the whole thing is covered with these little strips. There's not really any rhyme nor reason to it, honestly. You just want to cover it up with strips, you know, make sure that this whole white underpiece is covered with strips. So I'll go back to the sewing machine and sew some more of these strips on, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. So now we've got all the strips sewn onto our mummy face, and this is really how it's going to look. It's just going to look rough and, you know, coming off the edges. And what you're going to do now is you're going to kind of peel these back until you see the edge of your circle, and we're just going to trim these so that it again resembles an oval. Now if you make a mistake and sew off your circle a little bit, well, just, you know, that's where a seam ripper comes in really handy. So I'm just going along here and trimming like that. There we go. And then down here. Let me see, here's one of those places it looks like I stitched out a little too far, so I'm just going to clip those stitches, and it will just pull back ever so gently. There we go, a little bit of a curve here. And we have our finished mummy face. So this is what you're looking for. You're going to sew, after it's quilted, we'll sew a couple of beads in there for eyes. But now you have your mummy face done, and you get to actually sew it, these 3 blocks together, which makes it really fun. So thank you for joining me for part 5 of Home is Where the Haunt Is.